Boom. What's up? Happy Saturday. Now we back in Texas all the way around.
Back, who you the only one who was out of Texas? Some of us been in Texas. Some of us didn't get to go to that damn beach. Oh my God.
Uh, I mean, like the session is back fully in Texas, but we are continuing our discussion on Instinct by T.D. Jakes. We're currently covering chapters 12, 11, or 12. I don't know why I was going backwards, but 12, 13, and 14. And last week was a fire conversation because we covered basically chapters 4 through 11. Yeah. So shout out us for the efficient summary and convo because it was a great conversation. It honestly helped set the day. So I appreciate you. That being said, if you're catching the recording, you know what I'm saying, y'all can always tune in. Um, Realistically, we open this thing at 10:30, but it doesn't get started until after 11, given if it's just me and Imani. So you've got you got a good solid 45 minutes to hop on the damn call.
No, oh God,
Yeah,
seriously.
jam out the
Much
music.
time.
As more people come, we'll be more efficient with getting on time and then starting on time. But it's just us two, so we're usually out of this thing in 30, 45 minutes anyway. So we're like, it's whatever. We used to be on here for what, an hour and a half, 2 hours sometimes
Yeah.
on some powerful stuff. Quit playing with us. Okay, but grateful. Oh yeah, so chapter 12 was protection from predators. Chapter 13 was informed instincts. And then chapter 14 was instinctive leadership. Were you able to catch up on the reading, sis?
Yeah, about halfway to through 14, but yeah, I got notes on that thing though.
Yeah,
But I got notes on it.
14 is definitely thick. This is why there's only three chapters in this. In
Yeah,
this,
I was like, it went from two short chapters to this super long one. I was like,
yeah,
this
it's it's high key why I
vexes me.
when I was planning the actual I can't stand that my
Mm,
face be
You're a
frozen
bit
like
frozen there, buddy.
it's crazy. Well, I'm back, I think. Your connection is unstable. I don't understand.
Yes, a little laggy, but you're back.
I need Ethernet, I think. Give me a cord straight to the wires underneath all of the oceans so that we're not doing this. Am I back though? Can you see me?
Yeah, but you're really laggy, and I can hear you, but your movements are just,
Whack.
10 years in the past at this point.
Okay. Well, hopefully this doesn't mess up because you're like everything's frozen on my screen.
I'm frozen too.
No, not on the computer. Like it's only my receiver slash sender of my video and audio. But my audio isn't lagging though, right? Like you can hear me just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, you want to kick us off, girl? You got it.
Okay.
With your 12, 13.
Good morning. Good morning, US, North America, Brazil. I don't know.
Brazil.
Oh, excuse me.
The whole,
Brazil.
the whole
Shoo.
world's here, so it's fitting.
That's true. The world is here. USA, Mexico. I don't know. I'm sure Canada has a team, but I haven't heard nothing about them.
They're not all that great. They won their first game, though. Congrats to them.
Okay, okay. So, chapter 12. Mr. Jake's got dogs. So, that was fine. I have no clue. He said what kind of dogs, but then that's what the basis was set upon. The dogs that he brought to whatever part of Texas he lives in, which I didn't know he lives in Texas.
DFW.
And oh, I could see that because there's a lot of land. That's where the wealthy people be,
Mm-hmm.
trail rides, the things where the bulls walk.
He had a cane Corso though. His dogs.
What are those? Huh?
His dogs were cane Corso dogs.
Ah, that's what it was. Okay, because I was like, I don't know what those dogs look like. But anyways, so he was talking about how bringing his dogs home once they were old enough to be outside, because there's bobcats apparently in DFW, which is
Yep.
crazy to me. I need to find out why there's bobcats in DFW because that one is crazy. So I guess like his dogs was like, they're dogs. So sometimes they're gonna come home with prizes, which are usually small dead animals, or they just got back from a fight with a bobcat. I'm assuming because he said that they would just come home all scratched up, bleeding. Like, dang, these dogs are out there fighting for their lives, bro. Like, what's going on in DFW? But now I am really curious about their environment and the animals and stuff out there. So, okay, bam. So he was talking about stepping into a new environment and being able to adapt. He says that like he's been in a situation where he had to take sides because ugh, God, our American government. It's like, oh, you have the freedom of religion and all the choices, and then you're just like bringing in what, like, I don't understand how he ends up in these positions where he's like in political, like, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I can't stand like our government for that because it's like, what are we doing?
Mhm.
Pick, pick, pick an ideal. Anyways, so but he's in these situations apparently. And he like what he does is that he waits to pick sides. And I actually like that a lot because yeah, like you get into these new situations and oftentimes you want to instinctually, no, maybe it's a more of a human nature side of things where you want to gravitate to like a group and a crowd and things like that, but the crowds can change. And I've probably brought up many things on book club 100 million times, but Survivor, love that damn show. It is so relatable in the human world, except it's just more condensed and the stakes are much higher. But a lot of times people come into the show and they will immediately be in an alliance. The issue was with that is if you don't take time to see what's going on around you, that actually might not be the best move because your alliance later can backfire when someone in your new alliance finds out you're in that alliance and they think you might still be in it. Next thing you know, you're getting voted off, or you're one of the people, one of the suckers who have to vote for the person to get the $1 million. It's like, okay, but that's how important it is to take your time because you never know how these decisions can affect you long term. And that's exactly what he was talking about. Taking these moments. Oh, and he quoted somebody, and I did not catch the name of the person, but it was somebody who was at one of these summits or whatever he's at, where there's political leaders and religious leaders, and they're all gathering at once, and they're all making decisions. I don't know, I don't like it, but whatever the case is, this guy that he says he was talking to said, look both ways before crossing the street, or you'll get hit, or something to that effect. I think I'm paraphrasing a bit, but you'll get hit by both sides. That's it's basically saying to pay attention to everything around you, not just being short-sighted and maybe you chose to look left, but you didn't look right. Or maybe when you looked left, it wasn't the right way to go, and then now both sides are hitting you. So it's like I he takes his time. Wait to make those alliances, y'all. You gotta do it. You never know if you're gonna get voted off the island. Anyways, never. Okay, so then he says, never allow the animals to overwhelm you. So now he's really talking about being in these situations, being in these group settings. We're humans. We're humans, and if you're anything like me and Marcus, you always end up in a place that is full of a lot of networking and schmoozing, places where people in high powers, people with money, people with power, people who can actually like advance you, not only socially, but financially and mentally as well, because these certain places you're in can 100% change your perspective at the very minimum. So being in these situations and places, you got to know how to move. And you can't go into the lion's den without, getting bit up a little bit or eaten all the way. Or you can go into the lion's den and they might not even notice you're there. You never know. There's so many different ways to um, go about social structures and social situations, but he says, always know your home base. Always know your base. And be true to your purpose. Never lose sight of your center. You can't be balanced without your center. So I took that as when, just like not just social situations, but in general, like in life, when we leave our houses, when we leave our own environment, we're choosing to step out into the world. And by doing that, we are open to a lot of situations, like a lot of situations. You never know who you're going to run into. You never know who you're going to talk to, what kind of temperaments they have. And especially in the social situations, like I was talking about, there's a lot of ego.
Hmm.
There is a lot of very power hungry, clout chasing people as well who are not genuine. There's a lot of people who aren't genuine. There's a lot of people who would, I hate to say it, but like legitimately wish death upon you. That's because there are people in this world who are straight sharks, straight like predators. And unfortunately, he says, if you don't discover your passions, your purpose, and your power, then you will pursue the roles assigned to you by other people's scripts. And that is such a key factor in maintaining yourself and who you are, your sense of self, your purpose, your he said, yeah, your purpose, your mental fortitude. Because in this life, it's like the evolution, baby, Darwinism. You feel me? Like the strongest, the fittest survive. Strongest of the fittest, battle of the fitness,
Battle of the fitness.
something like that.
Battle of the fitness. I
Hey,
know that one.
I got it though. I got it at the end. Let's go. Okay, so um, it's really important
It's a
to.
survival of the fittest, though.
Oh, God damn it! I didn't get it. I did not get it.
That's why I said I'm gonna use that one. Battle of the fitness. Survival of the fittest. But yes, you're.
Oh my God. And I'm over here like, I got it. Like, no, ma'am. You did.
I know what you said though. It's okay.
Okay.
No need
I'm
to fear. We are here.
ex- exactly.
Hey,
So,
hey, lay down in bed. Bed. See, where are you going? Okay. I'm going to buy a part for the light for the Okay. car. All right, finish on. I love you.
Me too. In the clothes from the house, but it's okay.
Come on, let me say bye. Okay.
I'm gonna be like the co-pilot of the time.
Okay, I love y'all. I'm getting some stuff done and unpacking, so I'm gonna go work out with that.
Oh, good.
oh, he's a
We get to see
pussy.
each other. Poquito. Okay. I love y'all. Thank you. Be careful. Boy. All right, Eden. You still here? Yeah, man.
It's so precious. Abuelo. Abuelo.
Abuelita, abuelito. Okay, you can't see me at all, but you can hear me, right? I'm sitting
I
right.
can't see you. I see your curtains though. Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
you don't. Oh Lord, I need a few solid, amazing weeks, Heavenly Father, so I can get a new laptop, a new desk, a new chair, and this wisdom tooth out of my
Come on.
mouth. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. I back that prayer
Okay,
100%.
got you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah. So knowing your passion, your purpose, and your power, maintaining your power, because, you know, I love to believe that everyone in this world has good intentions, but I am not that naive. I love people and I also strongly dislike people because there's a lot of things in this world that, are I like to call them learning lessons because they can teach you a lot. Failure is a very broad scale. And these situations, like, if you know your power, if you know your center, your home base, where you can go back to dissect and understand, then these situations can be powerful tools in growth and empowerment for sure. Because yeah, like I do appreciate that he was talking about this because he then says your strength is your uniqueness. You will lose success afforded by new opportunities if you don't know your own priorities and preferences. So don't hop in these situations and just roll with the crowd, which I have done. And unfortunately, by rolling with these crowds, of course, I can say I was in it just for the plot. A lot of times I was in it for the plot. A lot of times I was in it because I just wanted to know people's business. You didn't hear that. Cut that. Edit this out.
It's okay.
I know, edit it out. Come on, just cut that out. Just cut it and then
Yeah.
go to the next one.
The way
Anyways,
my computer works, it's probably not gonna happen. Can barely get it to upload to YouTube. Damn it.
dang. Um,
Help me.
but yeah, so like I've been in these positions and I have thrived. That's the thing. When you know how to thrive in social environments,
Mhm.
you climb the ladder, you get into these places. And I look back on it, even in this moment right now, I'm looking back on it. I was like, I didn't have a center. I didn't have my purpose. I didn't know where I was really going. And okay, I'll give it to this book. That will be something that I remember because that's really important in growth moving forward. That which is actually like low key hard to do in real time. You feel me? Because things be popping off. You never know what can happen. Hell, I went out recently to a members only event and had a great time. Acted a fool, but not in a bad way. There was parts in a bad way, but I still met a lot of good people. Made good connections. Yeah, it's just like kind of crazy how things pop off when you're in the thick of it and emotions come up and memories come up and things and blah blah blah. Okay, so yeah, so I will be adapting that going forward. Maybe I need like a phrase, something to keep me grounded in those moments so I don't lose myself. And that's why I have actually like want to stop drinking completely because sometimes, but I like drinking, but not all the time. Every now and then, it's always like these moments where I'm like, I lose myself a little bit. But then again, it's just like a control thing too. So it's what phrase can I tell myself in these moments to help me stay, I don't want to say locked in because I mean, yeah, locked in, but like centered, balanced within myself.
Yeah, no, it's good. TD Jake talks about getting your bearings.
Oh my God, that's such an old person phrase because my grandma says it always. She
It really is though, because most of us don't even know what bearings means. But that's
I have a 91-year-old grandma who used to scream at me in the car, yell at me if I didn't know where we were going. She'd be like, Imani, what street should I turn on next? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, if you don't know your bearings, if you don't know your bearings, then you're gonna get lost. I'm like,
like, okay, I'm sorry.
no, literally. I'm like, we're on Western. Ah,
I
to
was like,
this
the map
day.
tells me. The map tells me. Nah, I remember somebody telling me like you got to know your actual landmarks at least, just so that if anything does
She
occur,
would
you
say
know
that
exactly
too.
where you're at, whether or not you have a phone. I'm like, that's real.
Yeah. She would say that too. Oh, what landmark? Where is this at? And I'd just be crying in the back seat. To this day, I know my directions very well. People can get lost, and I'd be like, the car is over there. I remember this little thing. Sometimes trauma works. Sometimes trauma teaches you the best, the best lessons, unfortunately. Okay. So then when goes to chapter 13, which is a relatively short chapter. I only have a couple notes on this one, but he was talking about finding where you belong. If you don't find a way to enhance your instinct through research, you forfeit the opportunity to belong. Then he says he talks about people didn't fit into like he had to fire people. Okay, let me slow down. So he's basically saying for like,
Listen, hold on.
hold on, let me get my bearings.
Get your bearings.
So, if you don't find a way to enhance your instinct through research, you forfeit the opportunity to belong. Basically, saying if you are you're basically making yourself a victim to whatever circumstances happen and fall into your place. You have to know what's going on, research, understand, be able to use your instinct. It's basically like a few chapters back when he was just like, information without instinct is futile. Instinct without information is the same. It's truly a balance of being able to understand what our instincts is telling us, or else opportunities will fall to the wayside. And so then he talks about like firing people because like having to fire people because they didn't fit into social or professional um they didn't adapt professionally or socially and like these new ways of interacting in his company's culture. So he had to let them go because they basically didn't fit in. I find that to be very culty and annoying. I hate when it's like, let me just do my job, bro. I don't want to be friends with you. Particularly, I don't like going to places to work and making friends with all my coworkers. Like I swear to God, and I've been in companies where they're like, okay, well, you don't fit in socially. It's like, okay, well, don't talk to me. That's fine. I think that's okay. But then I've also been the person like trying to adapt and then they this exclude me for no apparent reason. It's just like, okay, so I'm attempting to get to know you guys, but you're shutting me off and then now I'm not fitting into your culture. Odd cults. So I definitely didn't appreciate that portion of it. But I mean, I have, as a person who's hired many people, I do understand that if this is actually more particular to smaller environments, um, that if everybody cannot work in sync, then it becomes an issue. If one person in the group cannot work well with everyone else or handle their weight, um, and then it puts a lot more pressure on the other team. So professionally speaking, if they cannot adapt, I accept that. Socially, I can be in my office with the door closed and my headphones in all day. As long as y'all are doing your work and I'm doing mine, that's fine. So, I mean, difference in opinions, difference of styles. I mean, he's much older and millennial managers are much different in their styles of managing anyway. So whatever. Okay, chapter 14. And this is when he starts talking about and this chapter actually spoke to me a lot, just being a person who has always been a leader or seen as a leader. Um, but honestly, the leadership portion of it wasn't the thing that got me the most. It was him talking about uncertainty.
Mm.
Oh my, I'm good. I'm calm.
You're like, okay, all right, TD.
Exactly. I was like, okay, give me the info that I need because this actually spoke to me in a situation that I've been in very, very recently when I had to look at someone very close to me and see their actions and how I can't trust them with certainty. I can't trust them with certain things with certainty. And this is what he says. He says, when people are uncertain, they tend to wait and see. Ooh. But this like wait and see period, they tend to withdraw from people spending productivity. And that's all compromised. Then they develop an every man for himself stance. Then he says many people are traumatized by uncertainty, and it tends to basically ruin relationships. Where people, they detach in all different ways. And I actually really needed to hear that because that's how I was feeling in this situation. Uncertain. And it is very traumatizing because as a person, you know, have a very a very different background than a lot of people. Not saying that, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna say whatever.
Yeah, I hear you.
So yeah, like I have a very, very particular, intricate background with a lot of moving parts, a lot of moving pieces that left my life very uncertain in a lot of different areas. And I had to gain my independence, gain control over my life and what happens, what what I believe happens to me, if that makes sense. Like being able to take these moments and, put myself in a position where I feel more certain. The gag is, the gag is other people can come in and make life uncertain. And it is up to us as people to, again, find our center, find our balance, understand our purpose in what did he say? Oh Lord, let me go back to it real quick. Our priorities and preferences. Very important to do that because this uncertainty can drive us into a frenzy that is not healthy, anxiety ridden, and can ruin relationships. And I realized that, which Marcus, I want to talk about later once we stop the recording. Um, because these these moments happen and they can be learning lessons. They
Mhm.
can be tools to drive us forward.
You talking
And
about like a scenario with a specific person or what?
a scenario with a
Okay.
specific person in a whole situation that I'm like basically reflecting on and understanding that
Yeah.
this uncertainty has been a recurring issue in our relationship. And although I love this person dearly, and I know they love me and they have my back in a lot of ways, there's a lot of things that I don't feel safe with. And I'm realizing it's because of the uncertainty. I have friends that I've been friends with since high school. Okay. The same friends. And the reason why we've been able to be friends for so long is because although I'm uncertain of how life will go, because that is the name of the game, I am certain of this person's behaviors with me and for themselves. So it's not like this, everything's up in the air and I have to wait and see. And that causes a lot of unsafe like
Yeah.
feelings.
Yeah.
And so I'm really
Yeah.
happy that he actually brought this up because it can it can decrease productivity. So now your mind's off. Now everything's kind of like, oh, well, what's gonna happen? What shall I do next? And because of that, you know, coming back to yourself is so important. Coming
Yeah.
back to your personal power and being grounded is just absolutely necessary to be the leader that you need to be to continue to give back to continue to thrive in this world. And when we thrive in our purpose, the fruits of our labor should be shared, not
Right.
only with the people that we love, but people we don't know to help, give back to life itself. And that's just how things are supposed to be. So that is my take on today's chapters.
Okay, bet. Um, I'm trying to see about this because I think it kind of goes into what you were saying in chapter 14 and what
Hmm.
you're looking at, but we'll get into detail later. Um, the
Okay.
end of the end of chapter 13, I think, answers that question really strongly, um, on how to go about that. And he says, there's one sentence. He goes, when you want to reach solid conclusions and not tentative theories, then you must be willing to risk what you know for what you want to know. And like sometimes the what you know, you understand is more beneficial to let go of, but because we're creatures of habit
Yeah.
or we desire things to be known, like you have to let those things go and then step into what it is you don't quite know yet. And that's in your situation, right? Walking in a new sense of a chapter without this person being present in this area of your story. Or um, like for me, it's walking into a new chapter with or without a specific person in my story and what that looks like. Because I relate to a lot what you said, you know what I'm saying, in terms of as we step into these new seasons and we grow our ability to gather instincts, we have to
Hmm.
step into a new process of understanding what that comes with, who we were, who we're attempting to become, what parts of us need to be accelerated and amplified, what parts of us need to be let go, because what got you here is not going to take you there, and vice versa. And it's a lot sometimes, and I agree with you 1000% in terms of you having to know your bearings because I talked about it while I went to Houston for 4 or 5 days, and we had essentially a training to implement a new system, which I love. But in that process of implementing a new system, there's a lot of moving parts, new members to the team, individuals that are growing and have their own things going on outside of what we're doing, and the reason why we gathered there. And as we're diving into that process, we're also personally becoming more aware of our strengths, our weaknesses, so that we can operate towards a common vision and goal, right? You don't have to have best friends in mind, but if you're going to accomplish something very significant, it requires people to be on the same page and have a reason why to go and accomplish that thing. Otherwise, it won't get done when things are bound to get difficult. So, as I stepped into an environment this past week where, and I loved what he said in 13, it was crazy. Like, yo, because whenever you thrust into the wild, someone or something will immediately pick up your scent and make strategic decisions regarding their response to your arrival. He goes, hold on, let me say, I guess I'm starting from 13 because this is where the combo went. But I'm trying to find this one aspect that we to what I'm talking about. It says the challenge is to accomplish your assignment, meaning your mission, without losing your identity, who you are. Your presence changes the ecosystem and alters the environment for better and or for worse. In the process of adjustments, there will be conflicts. There will always be those moments where principles you used in your former life disappoint you in your current environment. And that lesson is fundamental. Your ability to survive has everything to do with your ability to adapt. And adapting and surviving requires that you know essentially he had a whole sentence, right? But you need to know who you are. And if you don't know who you are, you'll be influenced to become somebody that you're not just so that you fit in,
Mm.
or you'll overbear yourself and without taking it in, and you'll bark way too loud before you've sniffed your environment. So I think chapter 13 and 12 went hand in hand with one another because it's extremely important, right? It's not just relying upon the instinct. What I wrote after the end of chapter 12 was discernment is key. You must observe, take
Mm,
note, and then contribute/speak accordingly. If you lose the sense of who you are, you have nothing in which you can return. And essentially, our strength is our uniqueness.
yeah.
So losing yourself just to get along with others or social professional environments, and you have nothing original to offer to the new world of possibilities that you're stepping into. I am understanding this concept at a whole nother level that I haven't been able to fully grasp up until this season of my life. And one of the things that I talked about in terms of it was the last day we were all discussing like what part of our working habits or disciplines that we need to improve to be effective in contributing to the overall goal that we share. One of the things that I've been understanding is patience, something I've worked on for a very long time. But as I get closer and closer to the things that I've desired and prayed for, and I'm seeing God like give me hints and signs that it's around the corner, like I've always said this, but like I fervently feel it this time. Like it's tangible right there.
Mm,
And that impatience that I have in other areas of my life has started to bleed into my focus and my ability to effectively use my time management because I have effectively implemented time management, but now it's the efficiency of operating within the time management. That's a whole nother level. I recognize what people fail to do is think about what they're thinking about. So you might get to the point where I was surface level like, okay, my time management needs to improve. I need to block out Sunday through Sunday what I'm doing hour to hour. But then it goes down to the actual execution of that time management, right?
mm,
Things that might be blindsided or not exactly what it seems at first, or things that occur unexpectedly. And then the amount of focus that is used towards a specific task or period of block of time and where my thoughts might go or what distractions might occur while I'm attempting to execute the block of an hour and a half of working out without any distraction or the block of 2 hours that I have to knock out specific tasks that I know need to get accomplished for me to move forward in my assignment. Um, it's been a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a lot to like grasp, but it's crazy how like everything really lines up because I literally just went through this entire week. I met up with some people that I've been in business with going on 6 months, and I had to do this, and I've been doing it in a very instinctual manner, and I've had to do it because chapter 12 reminded me of one of my biggest lessons. You cannot expect people to treat you as you would treat them, even though you're called.
Oh, Jesus, yes. Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Okay.
It's a big lesson, bro. I've had to learn this through getting bit and scratched and scraped and knocked out. I'm not gonna lie to you. Up to the point where I was like, God, what do you need me to do? And he told me, you must treat people as you would like to be treated because it's the golden rule. It's part of what he asks for. But you need to be
Mm-hmm.
concerned enough, aware enough to observe and put yourself around people who are willing to do the same. It's not the fact that people can't do it, but every environment you go, unfortunately, my level of efficiency, my consistency, and my intention is not going to be received as an inspirational thing, although it should. It'll be received more times as an intimidating thing. And instead of being
Mm-hmm.
somebody of value, I can be viewed as a threat. And that puts me in a position to be stung by the wasp or bit by the snake. And it might not be anything towards me, but it more so might be what people are doing inwardly or the lack of personal development, emotional regulation that they still have to embark on. I threw a lot of sauce right there in terms of like what I'm talking about. Did that make sense? Like, what I'm
Oh, 100%.
because I definitely know what he
Like
means.
I felt that on another level.
Okay. Yeah, and I feel like the biggest part, and he said it was key, right? Discernment is key, but you have to stay true to your purpose. In order to understand your purpose,
Yeah.
what you're here, what you're doing it for, you've got to spend time with you. And that's something that I thank God for because it's allowed me to operate in spaces with more intention and efficiency so that I can be around those and pick up on the signs that aren't in tune with people that are not protecting and happy that you're there, even though they might outwardly seem like it, right? He goes in chapter 13, It's listening to your instincts as well as the insinuations of your new associates. My people, as you know, we are Google friendly. I don't know what the hell insinuations means. I looked that thing up. And insinuations, by definition, means unpleasant hint or suggest something bad.
Huh?
Insinuations, by definition, means unpleasant hint or suggest something bad. So what he's saying is, right, it's listening to your instincts as well as the insinuations of your new associates. Right? He was comparing this to being in a laboratory. When you mix chemicals, reactions occur. And I'm like, yo, this is my language because I did labs all throughout college.
Yeah, I know. You love that science. You love it.
But but
I gotta
um
be a.
but it produces powerful results that either
Mhm.
destroy or create energy for the organization. And I don't really like that he said that because by law, energy is not created nor destroyed. It's transferred or transformed. So that's the only thing I really disagreed with when I read it. But what I understood what he was attempting to say, she said, thank God he's
Yeah.
not agree with
No,
that.
you saw that? You weren't supposed to see that. I thought you were looking down.
He was like, Marcus is who I know he is. No, but it's energy is transferred or transformed though. And that's what he's saying. But like to the average person, unless they've done that understanding, they're not going to get what he's meaning by saying. So it might have been purposeful that he said it that way. But the transform is essentially the energy that comes in from this person and this person or these other variables in one environment are going to ensue a reaction, and that transferred or transformed energy can be effective or non-effective. Whenever you bring energy in the space of one another, it's going to interact, and it either gets along or it gets feisty. And that's just how it be. That's just human beings. This is why when we speak, there's a frequency that comes out of our mouths and hits each other's eardrums, and that frequency affects how we feel, which is why my dog will perk up when he hears me speaking in a very happy, excited tone. But he'll also ears down, eyes like, oh my God, what I do when my tone switches, when my volume and the intensity of what I'm saying is being derived. Although dogs might not speak English, they understand what is being said because of how it is being said. And I try to get people to recognize, like, yo, if a dog picks up on these things, and they don't have process of thought. They think about certain things for sure, but the process of thought in terms of eloquently creating and explaining something that needs to be done. Why the hell do you not process the same thing or work on it the way that dogs be processing tone and volume? Like we are more intelligent in terms of our ability to collaborate and communicate. And I think there's a purpose behind that. It's we're God like, right? We're creating His image and we're able to execute on those same things. But it's understanding these truths. And I think that he goes, learning to survive with the gangs without wearing their colors to work is a tricky business. It's a process, and God knows it is a science. And I'm currently in the season of my life. I am in a weird position, very transparently. I've got different parts to a whole, and the whole makes sense extremely, both to me and my God. Otherwise, I don't think I would have the visions that I do. But to the people that I'm working and collaborating with, so that each part works coherently together with the whole that I believe that I'm building for God, in their own worlds, it is this or nothing. But the way that I'm operating is it's God or nothing. And I don't think, like a lot of people can say that, but I really try to live that out on a consistent basis. And that requires me to put everything that I'm doing around Him, even when I'm not reaching the standard of what it is He's asking me to do, because I'm imperfect and there's no way I can be perfect. But one thing that I'm
So by that definition, technically you are reaching the standard.
okay, I can back that. I appreciate the love there. I think
Yeah.
it's the aspect of it being art and a tricky business of doing my part, helping accomplish the assignment that I'm given in my specific roles and where I've got my eggs, and allowing that to like have a synchronicity towards the big vision and goal that I'm building as well. So it requires me to not lose who I am when I operate in these different spaces and still be effective enough to provide a positive reaction in those spaces. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't understand. It makes sense in my brain. He said balancing who you are with where you are is another science all of itself. So you have to be busy in the business of branding. Learn to locate yourself within the context of current swirling around you. Variable conditions, allegiances, and allies shift frequently. So this is exactly what I'm trying to say. So it's the fact that within the spaces, I'm noticing how people operate and communicate, where loyalties are at, how things are being effectively given in terms of the mode of communication, where people are being guided in terms of who is leading, how it's being led, as well as things of like how are people choosing to follow, or if there's reluctancy, or if there's a willingness. And so for example, this past week, I got to see people who are extremely loyal and have been loyal for the longest time. I also seen people who are brand spanking new, don't know whether or not this is the environment for them. I also saw people been around for some time, got some extreme amount of value, and got options on the table on how to either fit this in or use an area of their time, energy, and focus to be put towards that environment and that assignment. And I got to observe. Essentially, I was carrying out what this thing was reading before I started reading it. And I'm like, this is crazy how in line and in tune these things are. And I got to reflect on the times where I was effective in that and the times where I was not effective in that. And just being in tune. Also just seeing, there's some conflict that has ensued between me and other people. And although I'm doing my thing, it might not be because of me. It might just be because of them. And the fact that, hey, I'm like, bro, don't allow my sense of confidence to offend your insecurity. I don't really, it is what it is. But I
Oh,
know who I am.
oh,
And
oh.
I know who I am and I know where I'm going. And this helped me understand how to step into my bearings as I navigate the system of where I'm currently at and how I'm attempting to leverage everything I've got going on without being spread out too much. And I think the key is, right, there's a reason why we have two eyes and two ears and one mouth. Observe and listen before you speak and allow that observation in what you're seeing and what you're hearing to determine whether or not the kindness and the energy is genuine or a facade. They might start off genuine, right? The intention might be great. The intention might be actually great, but like I say, man, you can hop on a plane attending to go to New York, but if you hop on a plane and it's going to Los Angeles, you on the opposite side of the country. I'm glad your intention was great, but here's what occurs from the action you take. And I feel like that's something I've had to learn as well. My intention was always pure. Why there's people yelling at me when I'm trying to hold them accountable? But it's the mode of the action of how I held them accountable. Maybe it's the environment or the timing that I chose to say the said conversation or my delivery of the observation that I made and what they first said. Right. I've had to learn these things along the way. But
Yeah.
this is the last thing I'll say on chapter 12. I'm going to share a quick little video on kind of how surreal I relate to chapter 12 and 13, and then I'll talk about 14 and then we're done. But no amount of kindness can alter the fact that the other animals in your new world feel threatened by your arrival, which means you must be prepared to do some sniffing as well. So sniff out your new world before you do too much barking. Knowing who's who will save you from ending up on the menu of some overly aggressive, attention-starved, attack-prone coyote who comes out only at night.
Damn.
In other words, nothing takes place of research when you are in a new environment. Immigrants have a hard time migrating into new worlds without conflict. So again, this is why I feel like 12 and 13 were right in tune. But your boy's been put through the ringer, and bro, I get emotional thinking about how in the process of me having to go through the ringer, like it was so uncomfortable. And I was hurt a lot of times by people I genuinely cared about. But it prepared me to be in the season that I'm in right now. And like, bro, I'm so undeserving of it. I really am. But, wisdom requires that you also
Why do
know
you think you're undeserving of it?
without getting the two confused. And that's done through applying the knowledge that you gain. And I recognize that this past week I gained
Ooh, you're
knowledge
skipping.
from experience.
Wait.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you now. You were cutting out really bad.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. What's the last thing you heard?
Okay, and now you're moving again. Okay, you're back. Well, you said you feel like you were really undeserving, and then you started going into, I heard wisdom. I heard,
Okay.
and yeah, it was just really
Yeah,
spotty.
no, yeah, it's okay. What I reckon you can hear me though, right? That's so sad. That honestly pisses me off. That frustrated me. The devil. Like, I don't know what happened. The screen just went. And sometimes it pops back up. I'm good. No, I'm gonna hold that thought. I'm gonna scratch myself right here. That shit hurts. Pinta, pinta, corazón. Lord have mercy. Give me patience. I'm annoyed. This is what I be seeing. I'm not sure what happened, bro. So you know we were going in. Fire call. Yes, yes. Give me a blue wheel that is loading and tells me that I need to close the program. Come on, brother. Come on. Oh, pinta, pinta, corazón. Pinta, 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 corazón. Did you press that?
I did not press that.
Crazy.
What?
Recording in progress.
That wasn't you.
It's giving Mercury in retrograde.
I don't know what that means.
It's basically a time in the stars and the planets when the planet Mercury, which is the ruler of communication, starts to, it looks like it's moving backwards, and that causes like a string of communication issues, issues with travel. It affects electronics a lot because Mercury is the ruler of all of that.
All right. Well, my camera stopped working. I guess that's why. But- So here's what I'm gonna do. Pinta, pinta. Okay. Can you hear me?
surely can.
All right, we're gonna do it like this.
Yeah, why don't you think you're deserving? Because that one threw me off so much.
No, no, I'm talking about because I understand my faults and where I have dropped the ball, like the amount of goodness and blessings
Yeah.
I have. Technically, I don't deserve it. None of us deserve what it is that we're kind of given when it comes to our daily graces. It's really what grace means, right? It's literally getting what you do not deserve. Mercy is not getting what you deserve. So I think I deserve a whole lot of negative things at times, as any human would, but in the times where I've rebelled against what I know I'm supposed to do, or I've gone against what it is I'm attempting to do, in those type of lines, that's where I'm genuinely communicating from. But I recognize the goodness of God and I'm grateful for it because although I feel undeserving, I know that I'm here to accomplish my purpose and my assignment has to be done. And I would not be in the room unless He put me in the room. And this past couple weeks, just the conversations and the people that I'm around and what I'm doing, it's very evident that I've taken a new step towards the next level. This is why I'm saying I've been working on my patience because I understand I'm closer than I've ever been to doing everything that I'm supposed to and what I've envisioned and what I believe God is asking me to. But I have to remain patient enough to walk in the authenticity and the consistency that discipline will yield as I take steps closer to breaking through. And the lessons that I had to learn when it came to gaining wisdom, right, done through application of knowledge of when I got effed over, had prepared me for how I operated this past week, really having the conversations and identifying specific things that my instincts, and when I believe it as discernment, my guidance from the Spirit has helped me to recognize and be aware of while I'm also gaining my research, having the intentional conversations, and seeing the things that have already been provided for me to understand and couple that with what I feel like the Spirit is telling me or not showing me and why. So it's been like another layer of thinking, but I'm grateful for it, right? Because wisdom requires that you also know what you don't know without getting the two confused. And getting it confused with what you already know. Right? Some people, and this is something that is an unhealthy habit of mine, but sometimes I like to assume what I don't know so there's a positive outcome in my brain just because I see the best in people or I might be overly optimistic. I prefer being more optimistic than pessimistic, to be honest. But when it comes to how I operate in today's life, I recognize that, not everybody will treat you the way you treat them. And it's important to notice the signs and move accordingly. So like this entire week, I've been having specific conversations, taking note of the energy in the room, seeing how things have been operated and moving and grooving. And I feel very blessed to be in a position that I'm at. And now I have to move accordingly, knowing that I stay true to who I am and that my actions and my execution behind my identity will yield the results that are optimal, not only for that objective and goal, but also to the main vision where this part of why I was in Houston to the entire whole of what I'm doing with my life makes sense. I had to explain that kind of thoroughly, but that's where my brain's at. So like I thought it was very surreal to read these two chapters and how I've been doing it. And then I'm gonna share a video that I saw on the gram. Mm-mm.
Recording stopped.
It's still showing recorded for me.
No, I know. I'm just.
Oh,
Uh,
I was like, bro. Oh, I'm tired of you. Okay.
oh, there we go, right here. Recording in progress.
Okay, so this video specifically tripped me up because it's literally been my whole life and I'm grateful for it. So check it.
You know Edward?
Yeah.
Everybody would treat me good. That was the most expensive lesson I ever learned. Because I operated on that belief for years. I would show up, I gave, I covered people, I kept my word when it cost me personally. I stayed loyal when leaving would have been easier. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I had this unspoken agreement that people would be good to me. Apparently, nobody signed that contract but me. People I poured into the most were sometimes the first ones to disappear. The ones that I went out of my way for couldn't find their way back to me when I needed something. The ones who called me a good man the louder were sometimes the ones who took advantage of the fact that a good man stays. And the dangerous part about that belief isn't just that it's wrong, is that it makes you easy to take advantage of, easy to exploit, because a man who expects goodness in return will keep giving long after he should have stopped trying to earn a response that was never coming in the first place. He keeps depositing into accounts that were never going to pay out, not because he's stupid, because he genuinely believes people operate the way he does. My brother, most don't. Everybody isn't built with the same conscience that you have. Everybody doesn't lose sleep over what they took from you. Everybody doesn't feel the weight of loyalty the way that you feel it. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you stop being surprised, and they show you who they are. Being a good man was never supposed to be a negotiation. You're not good because of what you get back. You're good because of who you are. The moment that your goodness becomes conditional on how people treat you, it was never really goodness. It was a transaction waiting to go back. Joseph was good to Potiphar, got thrown in prison, was good to the cupbearer in prison, got forgotten for 2 years. His goodness kept getting penalized by people who didn't deserve it. But the goodness wasn't for them. It was building something in him that no circumstance could take back. Good men don't get betrayed because they get betrayed because they're trusting. And there's a difference between being naive and being good. Being naive says everybody deserves everything that I have. Wisdom says I stay good, but I get better at who I give access to. The lesson was never to stop being a good man. The lesson was to stop being surprised when everybody is. I used to think that being a good man meant that everyone would treat me good.
Yeah. That's literally my life, bro. I don't know how to explain it other than I genuinely struggled for a very long time understanding that lesson. Am I still sharing my screen?
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah, I struggled for a very long time trying to learn that lesson. And there was a point where I did want to quit, just showing up and being myself and just kind of giving that same energy. But man, I praise God for prayer, for the ability to hear me and show me that it's still possible. And He got me around the right people in the right times where I didn't have to give up on that ideology. And now I'm able to operate in that sense all over with people that I never knew I'd have the opportunity to like create life with, you know? So I don't take it for granted. I also see how like the wisdom that you gain from what you experience, the cuts and the bruises, that along with so that's what you know, but then also coming into new environments and to gain what you don't know requires you to use your observations to put yourself in the best position so that you can remain true to the uniqueness of the value you bring to the table without allowing that to be subsided. And that's what separates, I believe, the outliers from people that just do what they're supposed to, right? You can get in tune and be totally fine with that. But I feel like those who are called to, there's a continuous thought process and this a seed planted in your mind that cannot be dug out. It's there and it's been cemented for some time. So, anyways, that was very like powerful for me to recognize and read because I was like, yo, I was doing that this past week. I'm grateful, Lord, that you helped me over the years understand exactly what I needed to understand and do exactly what it is I was supposed to do. Um, so chapter 14 living instinctively, right? I think it was instinctive leadership. And he says that, can you hear me?
Yeah. Just pause for a little bit, right?
Yeah. I don't know why. Like my computer, I'm about to throw it away.
A new one's coming.
No. No. Okay. But but okay. He talked about most businesses as well as the enterprise pursuing our God-given destinies require more than just customer service. There has to be a team approach to unite the various departments required for success, whether those are human resources and internal technology or your personal resources and your laptop. The bigger question remains, how do I retain what I need and realize what I do not? uh,
And your laptop, no. Seriously.
it does. It's literally a freaking word in here.
It's just such a fun coincidence. Fate, as you would have it.
Yeah. So it's uniting people, resources, and technology for your personal, as well as like your personal resources to understand how do I retain what it is I have and how do I realize what it is I do not. So how do I continuously receive what it is I've gotten to this point, and what do I do to get what I haven't yet achieved at this point? And man, shout out the guy that is running the trust company because I got to see it from a perspective of a leader, how he held that event and how he guided people's thought processes, communication in order to understand not just getting behind the goal, but knowing the assignment each role played and how each role affected the other and making it more about themselves in order to reach what it is that they themselves want. I'm like, you're cold. Like leaders don't do that if they're not experienced or if it's just about them. Because technically, he owns a company that he can sell for 20 plus $1 million. And the only reason why he hasn't sold is because he believes in the people that he has in his team that helped his company get to where it's at. So most people will be extremely prideful or selfish and do so because it's best for them. Leaders, however, have to choose to step up to the plate and recognize how to put multiple moving variable parts together in a way that cohesively works. He earned a lot of my respect this past week. I'm like, okay, bro, you're cool. You're actually somebody that is genuinely caring about individuals and are willing to help people lead in that route versus just trying to get a goal that makes you happy in terms of what you're accomplishing in business. Very rare to see nowadays.
Man, I swear to you. And I want it to be a standard so badly, like to where that this is what people are truly doing with themselves in their lives. They're doing it for the people as it is designed to be in this life, everything that we do. Balar Magules!
Lord.
Balar Dohaire. All men must die, all men must serve. Those are
We must. Those are the non-negotiables. That's real.
those are the non-negotiable, honestly.
I'm gonna use that for a value session. Hold on.
Just look, it's a Game of Thrones reference.
I love it, bro. Those some of them shows, man, they do a great job at teaching some real life lessons, and if people are like actually intentional to hear it, they'll receive it. I'm not gonna quote Game of Thrones though. I'm be like, hey, I have a great business partner. She's doing her thing in real estate and been killing the game. And she once said,
Belardo haters. They're gonna be like, from Game of Thrones.
no, no, no. uh,
It's every time because like just all men must serve and like knowing how the laws of the universe intricately work for us, we are given more abundance if we serve an abundant amount of people. Give abundance, we receive abundance. And I'm like at that point in my life where it's like giving and receiving. I am not in that place of like, oh, I'm not going to receive because I just want to give, give, give. No, that's not how it works. You have to be open to receiving, open to the receptivity of what people can give you, but you also have to ensure that you're giving tenfold. Like, so it's just really powerful. But I also learned like it's not just about like your inner circle. You have to give to even strangers, even people you don't know anything about them. They could be murderers, they can be racist, they can be whoever. It doesn't matter. That's not your call to make. It's not your judgment to give. You just have to do what is in your soul and your heart. And there's been so many times where I've given to people and not knowing, you know, what kind of person they are, or them showing me what kind of person they are relatively quick, and me having to just set that feeling aside and be like, doesn't matter. I gave from the bottom of my heart. That's what I was called to do. Whatever reason why they're horrible is the reason why they're horrible, and that has nothing to do with the act of me giving to them because they needed it, or yeah, because they needed it, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like getting back into what he's talking about in terms of like the instinctive leadership, he's talking in a perspective of organization.
Like an organization?
In an organization that is
okay.
In an organization that is expanding. And he says, whenever what was begins to fight against what is, they both jeopardize the future of what can be. This can be collateral, and the end cap will be comprehensive. So, in terms of the damage, and although he's talking about like removing a bottleneck of stagnant staff or members that are more complacent than it is to move in the direction it's supposed to go, they suffer from paralysis and a sense of direction. It leads to overall things not ever becoming what actually can because of what they're so comfortable in terms of what was being the current what is. Right? So if you're trying to change the what is, you can't hold on to the things that was so that you can step towards there, period. And this is why I think like the more you get in tune with the relationship with God, he requires you to be more present in the moment so that you can be intentional about accepting what's right in front of you rather than what was or what might or may not even happen. But if you are constantly developing yourself, results, consistency, discipline in the present moment, you're bound to progress, right? You cannot predict the future. I think the only way you can create the future is in the present moment, and that nothing else really exists. We live literally second to second. It's a time construct that society uses to help understand the things that have happened or to process the things that occurred. But and it's all said and done, there's no such thing as the future or what was. It's literally all we have is literally right now. I say this all the time. I don't think people take it as in tune, but that's what I recognize, right? And if there's that conflict internally or outwardly between how things were and what you're attempting to put into implementation right now, there's not going to yield a positive result. It's going to be collateral damage and consequences that unless a lesson is learned, a compromise is made, or things are changed, it's going to remain very difficult to move forward. I've learned to get around people that understand that concept and have a willingness to move forward. We're supposed to evolve and grow. And if we're not, we're being stagnant and we're going backwards, which means we're going closer to the one guarantee that we must die. Right. And it depends. It depends on like what you want to do with that dash in between the dates of your year. There's so much to cover in this one. But he said that Leadership emerges not only when an individual can capably do what needs doing, the real test is passed when a person can implement what needs to be done through others. Leading by instinct requires you to influence. I've learned that through Mr. John C. Maxwell, right? Leadership is influence. To amass a pool of support, you need a team effort with many supporting players. So this is a great reminder for me because I'm in a season in my life where I believe I'm a part of a team and I'm not leading the team, which is why I'm excited for Leadership 2.0, or what is it called again? Um, oh, I can't remember. It's a John C. book, but we're gonna read it, and it talks about how you can be a leader from anywhere. And in doing that, sometimes my role right now is just to participate and execute so that I have the means and the ability, the results to continuously lead more people and show what is possible when they do get behind somebody who is capable of overcoming the limitations that we all have to face. So it was a reminder today that I eventually got to get back into the fact that I need a team again. Even though the last team I built crumbled, I learned a lot of lessons. Um, It says increasing the size of your business influence and income may not be as important as protecting your privacy, maintaining stability, and enjoying ample leisure time. You instinctively know what you want, so don't lead yourself and others to someone else's destination. So, like, don't compromise what it is that is guiding you for what it is that you think you need or what looks like that you should need instead, is what I pulled from that. And then I'll talk about this the last part. There's so many things to cover. I really love this chapter. Okay. When you talk about obstacles to opportunities, he goes, he evaluates instinctive leaders by their response to troublesome dilemmas. The better you are at responding to a challenge, the more apt you are to succeed. Followers avoid responsibility by avoiding leadership. So embrace the challenge head on. I think like too many people don't like uncomfortability, but we understand that with life, challenges will ensue. And in order to have a different result, you've got to change the way you embrace those challenges or start embracing them if you don't, because uncomfortability is where growth is possible. Um, I think it comes down to like, do you want to grow or do you want to stay where you're at? It's up to you, but I'm not here to stay. You know what I'm saying? Um, okay. Pinta, pinta, pinta me. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Da, 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 da. Um, so this is what I'll end it on, and it's towards the end of the chapter. But he said, instinctive leadership cannot be reduced to a simple formula or series of steps. It boils down to an awareness of your instincts, a willingness to trust what they tell you most of the time, and courageously stepping forward to take responsibility. If you want to develop into a more instinctive leader, I encourage you to look for opportunities around you. Ignore the ones outside of your areas of passion and interest and invest in the ones already alive within you. And I think that's the part. And it's kind of like what you talked about last week, the 5 psychological cycles of life. When things get rough, instead of looking for opportunities within where you're currently at, you go and look for a different opportunity where the grass seemingly seems greener. Like you've got to understand you are exactly where you are because of the choices that you've made. And if you have a willingness to trust what your instincts are telling you and courageously stepping toward taking responsibility, and I review that being like extreme responsibility, like it's on me. Even when it's not on you, you taking responsibility and finding out where I could have done better or what I might have dropped the ball in so that what had occurred would not occur next time. And if you have that extreme responsibility, you have a more effective ability to lead yourself, therefore you can lead others. But a lot of people be trying to lead people without leading themselves, and that makes no sense to me at all. But
And
whatever.
you don't. You jumping ahead like you worrying about somebody else. You better get your bearings first.
Yeah, you better get your bearings on here. Ah. Excuse me, hold on. All right, well, that concludes our book club conversation. Powerful one.
Bravo, bravissimo.
Bellissimo. Okay. Next week, I think we've got two more weeks of this.
2 more weeks, right? Yeah.
Da-na-na, da-na-na-na, da-na-na-na. Okay, one's July 4th. I forgot about that.
Yikes.
Yeah, would you be down to do it earlier in the morning or no?
How early are we talking? No. No, because I work really late and I never can fall asleep right away after work. I'm always going to sleep like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So
Okay. We do
that's what
have
happened last
we
night.
do have
Got
2 more weeks. So what we can do is we can just push them back and not do next week. That's fine.
I think that would be the best because I have a baby shower to go to next week anyways.
Okay. So
And
July
it's
4th
relatively
will be
early.
canceled. Um, we'll move it to the following week, which is July 11th. And we'll be reading 15, 16, 17, and 18. And then on January or July 18th is the rest of the book, and that's chapters 19, 20, and 21.
Okay.
So it's 15 through 18 for July 11th. We will take an interim break on July the 4th. Y'all enjoy the 250th year of the United States of America.
That only partially part of the people were freed.
I agree.
Just parts.
But we gonna
Me as a person, I was not free. As a woman or a black person, I was nowhere near free. So
yeah, I understand.
America,
America.
your people were enslaved too.
I know it. He said, you ain't exempt, Nate.
The Alamo happened.
The Alamo did happen. The Alamo did happen. That's real life. Okay, bet. Well, I'm gonna update these events so that the 11th. Oh, let me just do this real quick.
Okay.
And then I'll end the recording. But yeah, y'all, make sure you read, hop on, invite your friends. We love talking to one each other, but we want to encourage other people.
we missed the group. Where's the group at?
Where are y'all at?
I'll be inviting people in. Yeah.
For sure. Pinta, píntame de corazón. The 18th is updated, and then the 11th. The 11th here. We're gonna press this. We're gonna edit. Eat.
Stop the recording, right?
I did not. All right. Bye, y'all. Have a great day.
Bye. Happy Saturday, guys. We'll see you on the next club.
Píntame. I did. It won't stop. It's converting the recording on my computer right now. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay. I don't know what happened there. Word. I wonder how much of the recording it actually recorded. Right up that. The last in. At least you got the front part. Your fart's not interrupted this time.